What's going on? So I'm going to timestamp it. It is August 15, 2026. It's approximately 2:30 p.m. on that eastern side. We flipped the poles. It might be Western Gregorian calendar. Hear me out. I'm cooking on the grill. So I was like, shit, instead of me looking at the videos, why don't I react to the videos? So let's get into it. We over here at O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel, and as you can see by the title and probably by the thumbnail, young Pharoah is going out sad as fuck. All right. So right now you see the creator O'Shea Duke Jackson, and we're getting ready to get into this message on how he breaking down on young Pharoah, and it's not okay, but it's the truth. Let's get into it.
In 2015, I had just joined up on YouTube, and there was a certain sector that was popping, the conscious community. Now, the meeting grounds for the conscious community at that particular time was Sonnetter TV, also known as the House of Consciousness. And you would hear these extraordinary debates from everybody across the community. There was Brother Jabari, there was Dr. Ma'at, Captain Tazariak, every now and again, Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Polite. But the youngest out of all of those people was a young brother by the name of Marshall Daniels from Buffalo, New York, also known as Young Pharoah. Young Pharoah would be popularized with the Black Woman is God teaching, and his YouTube career took off in a way that I've never seen anybody else do it. His first actual video on YouTube hit 100,000 views. And he was touring around the country, he was debating, he was teaching, he was getting in beefs. The legendary one I remember was...
All right, so before we get into it, this is the young Pharoah that I remember. When I first started tapping into learning about spirituality and esotericism, young Pharoah was one of the guys, along with Rashad Jamal, people like Nature Boy, even he just said Dr. Umar type of people. All right, but back to you, O'Shea Jackson.
Him versus the Nation of Islam. And while he was doing good, not everything was peaches and cream. Sandra Bland died around the same time that young Pharoah was coming up. And young Pharoah was accused of fundraising in Sandra Bland's name and pocketing the money instead of giving it to her family. That was one allegation. Another was that young Pharoah was doing this under multiple GoFundMes that caused people to question his credibility in the conscious community. But young Pharoah...
Hold on, so that's foul. If that is happening, allegations I'll be taken seriously. And again, it's an allegation. I'm not quite sure if they figured out if he did it or not, but wow, that's despicable. Back to you, O'Shea.
Views kept going off the charts. His teaching in metaphysics, his ideology was bringing a lot of young people to his channel. And when you remember young Pharoah, you remember stuff like this.
Or other races, no matter what your genetic code may be, whether it be human-based or Neanderthal-based, you are a different form of the feminine deity of your species, which is your woman.
That's the young Pharoah that everybody remembers.
He's right,
But then around 2019 to 2020, young Pharoah made a switch from the normal conscious community style of talk to joining in with the conservatives. Now, he was still himself in many ways, but he had this larger fan base, which was largely white. And I remember many of the young Pharoah supporters at that particular time kind of concerned or questioned why young Pharoah would be supporting Trump. And I think it was obvious. It was a lot of money.
He's right,
Young Pharoah...
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I had tapped out of the spirituality community and just started doing my own type of research and edification on what I wanted to learn, right? But what I'm saying is, wow, I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have went with either party. When you're teaching esotericism, metaphysics, spirituality, technically you're not voting for either party. Democrat, Republican, Independent, you're seeing above the whole system. So it's like, wow, damn. I missed out on a lot. Back to you.
Blew up, especially in the conservative arena. However, young Pharoah would get himself in a lot of trouble. talking about stuff like the COVID-19 and vaccination. He was critical of certain mainstream social movements such as Black Lives Matter. He had also said some hateful things about the Jewish community. And then what happened was YouTube started to change its policies regarding misinformation and harassment, especially amongst COVID-19. And when that adjustment happened, YouTube came and did this to his channel. Now, it wasn't right away that his YouTube channel was gone. He actually raised like $80,000 trying to fight it from his audience, which many people thought that it was a scam. But in July 2020, young Pharoah filed a high-profile federal civil rights case, Daniels versus Alphabet, which is against Google and YouTube because Alphabet.
See, everybody knows that civil rights shit, it's a scam as well. So that's why I'm like, man, to hear this information, I think he should have known better than to even try to go in and do a civil rights case. But then again, it's like he claims to be sovereign, part of a tribe of his own and things like that. I'm so confused. Back to you, O'Shea. Let me not interrupt you.
Is the parent company. He would accuse YouTube of attacking his free speech, and he would not be successful.
I felt like it was too good to be true. I can get an iPhone. Is it an iPhone? It's an iPhone. Bam. Hi.
And he would not be successful. In fact, in 2023, he would even owe YouTube's lawyers $40,000 for pretty much wasting their time. But before his career went all the way down, young Pharoah was still getting to the bag. Now, he did some prison time before coming on to YouTube around 2014, but being a young dude with a lot of money, he was attracting a whole lot of females. And this would attract him to his baby mama by the name of Golden. Now, while young Pharoah was getting to the bag and getting to money, he was also living polygamous-style relationships, having different women, doing his thing. He had moved to Houston. And so at this particular time is when people started to see somewhat of a change in young Pharoah. And to be honest, after he lost his channels, like he kind of went off the Richter until we saw this.
I noticed that he had these long stiletto nails.
Before the nails, and when he started twerking, the way he started talking, by the way, in the previous videos, even when he was younger, the earrings, you know what I'm saying? But even now, it's like, this is completely different. And people want to say, oh, MK Ultra, or it's a clone, or whatever. You know, it could be drugs, it could be all of the above. But whatever it is, this representation is mad, crazy, and diabolical.
On with like a cheetah print designs, and like he was like clicking his nails and singing R&B, and then he started.
Young Pharoah started to appear on social media with some interesting stuff he's never done before, which is fingernails, which is on live, you know, kind of being in a trance, and then taking very provocative pictures, looking out his tongue, doing things like this. When he started doing this on TikTok or Instagram Live, people also started bringing up the obvious.
Now, I don't have a problem with how a man chooses to adorn himself. If you want to wear nails, that's cool with me. However, it just seems out of character for young Pharoah. And the comments kept asking him, why you got on nails? And then somebody said that he had just gotten out the cycle ward.
This was definitely unlike young Pharoah. I had never known for him to do stuff like this, never seen it. But once I started to really listen to so many people online, it was two particular conspiracy theories that came out. Number one, young Pharoah is being cloned. Damn! Somebody kidnapped him and replaced him with somebody else. There's another theory that young Pharoah was kidnapped by MK Ultra. And if you guys don't know what MK Ultra was, this was like a top secret illegal human experimentation program run by the CIA from 1953 to 1973. Now, this is during the Cold War, and this program was designed to develop chemical, biological, and psychological techniques for mind control, brainwashing, and behavioral modification, right, to gain advantages. And if you look at what's going on with young Pharoah, then people could argue that that's what they think, that he's had some level of chemical and psychological changes to what he used to be from then to now. And then the conspiracies kept coming.
And he started bringing other women into his relationship. That was the first red flag, because it was always just him and Golden and their children. And he started trying to, do the poly thing or whatever. And that's what really effed him up. And I feel like it was one of those girls that set him up.
Now, this is interesting to me because I saw similar things happening with Brother Polite, although Brother Polite didn't get fingernails. The fact is that once they got a lot of money, they stopped being the very humble guy in the conscious community, and then they became somewhat of a superstar. More women, more exposure, and then fell very, very, very hard. This is what she's saying about young Pharoah, that he had a certain level of knowledge, but he didn't understand the spiritual warfare that was against him. And then...
Let me explain something to you. It seems like everybody within the spiritual community, or speaking about esotericism, almost all of them, especially some of the men, y'all, I'm sorry, where my camera at? So I can look at y'all, especially some of the men. If they speaking that that you shouldn't be out there having sex, you should be saving your sperm, which you should, right? Semen retention, right? Everybody should, especially during this time, during spiritual warfare. But the more power they get from even on the internet, this is more powerful than in real life sometimes, right? The more they're projecting that aggressive ass, I'm smart, you're not, the big ass words and edification and education and, try to make people feel down. 9 times out of 10, they're living the opposite lifestyle, and they are absolutely a part of this program. I'm trying to tell you what I absolutely am aware of. Back to you, O'Shea.
There was this.
So once he got to a certain level, bought that big house and all of these things, that's when he started getting spiritually attacked to the T.
And that matches up to this.
Spiritual warfare was being aimed at him. It was making him believe that his baby mamas was the enemy, while he was surrounding himself with a bunch of strangers and bringing in a bunch of new weird people.
Now, this whole idea that young Pharoah had weird people around him, which explains his downfall in sexuality, preference change possibly, is because someone else came into his life. I'm not sure of that. I mean, I've heard an interview that young Pharoah recently did. He sounds normal. He seems like...
I believe all of it. I believe a lot of agents were sent in because he's an agent himself. Obviously, he didn't do something that was a part of the script. All right, and boom, next thing you know, everything is falling like dominoes. And absolutely, I believe maybe his baby mamas, the community, the spiritual community, esoteric community, whatever it is. It's a piece in all of it. Right before he started going real crazy, he did a few interviews with Beyond 5D, and he was on there with 607 Unc. He did a few interviews before he really went off the rail like this. And I ain't saying nothing against those people. Where y'all at? Where the camera at? I ain't saying nothing against those individuals either. What I am saying is let's pay attention to the facts that's out here. People make their own choices, but I'd be damned if they're not pushed. I was about to say poison. If they're not pushed into making certain choices. And no, I don't have no sympathy for young Pharoah. Absolutely not. I have no sympathy for not a person, especially if I don't have sympathy for myself. You understand? But this is just ridiculous. And 9 times out of 10, it's the community that he was a part of that sent these folk out there, and he made the choices to allow them in. Back to you, O'Shea, Duke, Jackson.
He still has a preference for women. He believes that he is okay. And again, I'm not knowing why he's doing this or what's really going on with him, but that's the accusation. But I can tell you that not everybody believes it.
Young Pharoah now got pictures with his nails. He got some cat nails, acting like a cat. You know who was acting like a cat before him? Nature Boy. You know who came up together with young Pharoah? Nature Boy. You know what y'all did for Nature Boy? You made excuses for him. Now when I see the comments, y'all talk about they got him, MK Ultra. What was young Pharoah doing that was going to stop the government, stop the world?
Now, Captain Zaryak, who collaborated with the
Upgrade your fall setup with the Cavella at Ashley. This modular sectional is made with stain resistant.
Zaryak, who collaborated with the conscious community in Sonnetter, said that, hey, this is something that happens in the conscious community all of the
Who is this? I gotta look this person up. You have my algorithm now. Who is this? Looks could be the same.
time. These guys abuse women.
Yeah,
These guys scam. These guys do a whole bunch of hurtful stuff. And what people are doing right now is making excuses for them. And I kind of saw similar things with Brother Polite when he got arrested, when he was accused of dealing with one of his wife's daughters. He's now in prison. There was a lot of people making excuses for him. And young Pharoah, even though he doesn't have any kind of sexual charges against him, but he also, went on the same path with multiple women.
All I can say is I have nothing against those that are, gay or bisexual or lesbians. Transsexuals and transgenders, I do have a problem with because of the whole illusion, the mask, the whole delusion, the lies, trapping people, all that shit, quiet on the creek shit, all that shit. Okay, I don't like that. All right, I'm not with that. But those that choose whatever preference they choose, whatever it is, and being the fact that he's where y'all at, I like for y'all motherfuckers to see me. Being the fact that he's being open about now, he's being open or pushed or whatever it is. At least he ain't out there so far trying to chop his dick off and shit like that. You dig what I'm saying? And again, nothing against anybody's choices. What they choose is what they choose, right? But it's just nobody probably expected this from young Pharoah, and maybe some seen it earlier on with a different lens. I meant lens, lens. Back to you, O'Shea. This is crazy.
And trying to live a life of polygamy, losing himself, not being able to handle the fame and the money. And now he's living in Detroit, I believe, in a modest apartment, kind of going crazy. And to be honest, I don't really know what to believe, but I do know that something has happened to him. I believe that he's probably going crazy and probably needs some mental help. I don't really think that this is a sexual preference or anything going on, in my honest opinion. I think it is something that's more serious. And being in this business for as long as I have, I know many people think that being a YouTuber is just being a YouTuber, but it's not. This can really get to your head and it can really ruin you. Yeah. I thank God that I was able to start doing good on the platform in my 30s, because if I had that same level of experience and money in my 20s, like young Pharoah did, I probably wouldn't be on the platform, and I don't know where I would be. Sometimes you gotta thank God that you have your faculties. My God.
All right, so he believes in, his God and all that stuff, right? So that's what it is. Let's go on over to O'Shea's channel. This is O'Shea's channel. If you want to tap into it, you can tap into the videos. So far, he has Tasha K's newest scandal. It's so hard to watch. He dissed FBA. Now he's homeless. Young Pharoah is going out sad as fuck. Since we're over here, you can go on over to my channel, Damika's Rising. Damika is Rising 999. You can tap on the playlist channel and you can go to things like reaction videos, and you'll see videos like a list of 19 black celebrities that ... Aaron Plummer reveals the ... Blueface handcuffed ... because you got to tap on it if you want to know what the ... is about. And Jaguar White says she knows Dr. ... All right, we also got Blueface and Krishan getting arrested. That's also on there with the ... All right, so now we're going to go over to, if you're into tarot divination, I also do that. So you could click on hashtag Lost Souls Tarot. You'll see divination like what's the current energy ... I don't know why the highlight is there, but I was saying something. Look at me, I be tripping. Saxophones are getting louder. Lie, tongue on fire ... Who is Sekhmet and who are these new spirits and energies? Much peace, much light, much love. Oh, if you'd like to donate, bam, you may do so at Cash App. Put the little money sign, Lost Souls, LOSTSSSOULS, Tarot, TAROT, 999. If you have ZELLE, you can put in Lost Souls Tarot 999 at gmail.com. LOSTSSOULSTAROTNN 999, 999, no ends, 999 at gmail.com. All right, y'all. Much peace, much light, much love, but especially the darkness, because the dark matter. I love y'all.